Welcome back to Rachie Reads. Today we're going to be discussing Rumaan Alam's Leave the World Behind. I was recommended this book by a coworker actually who said it was really good and said it was 5 stars. So let's go ahead and see what I thought of it. Leave the World Behind is a mystery thriller that's about a family who goes off on vacation to the country part of New York where not a lot of people live. And they have rented this Airbnb, and it's the 4 of them, Mom, Dad, Archie, who is a 16-year-old boy, and Rose, who is their 12, or I'm not sure exactly how old she is, but she's younger than him, maybe 12 or 13. And so everything seems to be normal until a couple comes knocking on their door in the middle of the night one night, claiming that this is their house and that they are running away from something that's going on in the city in New York. So the Washingtons, these are the people who own the Airbnb, they are apparently running from a blackout. So they were in the city in Manhattan and suddenly all the lights go out and they're like, what's going on? We're gonna go seek refuge at our Airbnb in the country. They get there, this family is already there, prior had rented the house. And so they decide to stay with the family for a bit. So they're all kind of camping out together. They have no signal, the TV's not working, they have no idea what's going on in New York. And a couple days later, they hear this massive noise, and that's the only way the author refers to this, as a noise. We have no idea what it is. Maybe it's a loud screeching sound, maybe it's planes running overhead, something like that. Anyway, we never find out what the noise is. We never find out what's actually going on in New York. So, that's the book. Okay, so as usual, I'm going to start with my top 3 thoughts. So the first thought on this is that the author does a lot of description in this book, which is fine. It starts out well. He's explaining what they are buying at the grocery store when they show up. It's vacation. They're excited to hang out by the pool and do nothing. They go to the grocery and Mom picks up a ton of things. And the author describes exactly what she buys of everything. And it goes on for pages of what she's bought. And I thought that was kind of unique at first, thinking, oh, okay, that's cool. I'm liking how detailed he's getting in a lot of this stuff. And for example, here's a quote throughout the book that, in the beginning of the book, that kind of shows a little bit of that descriptive tangents that he goes on. This is 4% of the way through. Everything was so green, it was frankly a little crazy. You wanted to eat it, get out of the car, get down on all fours, and bite into the earth itself. So in the beginning, you're like, okay, this is interesting. I'm kind of intrigued by the way this author is writing. But throughout the rest of the book, it just gets way too in-depth. I don't want to give away too much, but there's a scene with Archie in which he's alone in his room and the author is describing exactly what he's doing. And so you're thinking, okay, I don't need to know this information, especially about a 16-year-old boy. My second thought is Rose versus Ruth. So Ruth is the name of the woman who owns the house, Ruth and G.H. Washington. Rose is the name of the daughter of the family. So you've got Amanda the mom, Clay the dad, Rose the daughter, Archie the son. And there were several times in which the author would be talking about something that Ruth was doing, and then he would switch gears and start talking about something that Rose was doing. And for me, these names were so similar that I would be reading a paragraph about what Rose was doing, thinking it's Ruth, and vice versa, and I got very confused. So there were a lot of times where I had to flip back and go, okay, who is he talking about here? So that stream of consciousness writing was hard to follow when the names were so similar. My third thought is the fact that this is an unsolved mystery. So we never find out what's going on in New York. We don't know what this noise is. Throughout the book, Archie gets sick, he throws up, he starts losing his teeth, and we have no idea why. So I was very frustrated, like, what happened? Why is Archie sick? They keep saying maybe the noise made him sick. Why? Because it was so loud? You know, did it burst his eardrums? Why would that make his teeth fall out? I don't know, but it was frustrating and I need that mystery to be solved. So I rated the book a 2 out of 5 stars. I docked stars for some editing errors. I docked a star because there were times where I was skimming through all of the descriptions that the author had about what each person was doing and what they were thinking. I didn't think that it was central to the plot, which was there's something happening in New York. And I also docked a star because of the unsolved mystery aspect. And so, this book is definitely more about just the human condition and how we react to terror. And it's also kind of about how attached we are to our phones. But I am not, I wanted to know what was going on. And for me, the whole time, I was very much worried about that and not necessarily focused on the character building. I would recommend this book to people who really like stream of consciousness writing and descriptive adjectives all over the book and who don't mind that the mystery is never solved. So there are these 2 quotes. One of them I stopped because I was like, this is kind of questionable. So I highlighted it. I'm going to read it to you now. It's 7% of the way through. There was a lot of smoking in this book. So this is kind of about why Clay, who's the smoker, feels that smoking is okay. He said, "Smoking tethered you to history itself. It was a patriotic act, or once had been, anyway, like owning slaves or killing the Cherokee." Okay, so that's my thought on the book. Read it, let me know what you think. It was definitely an interesting one. Right now on my to-be-read list, I'm reading The Guardians by John Grisham and Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, both for my book clubs. I'd also like to read Work Won't Love You Back by Sarah Jaff. Maybe we'll do a nonfiction review next time on Rachie Reads. Thanks for joining.